Sunday night, November the 18th, 2018. Lee Sanders here. You're checking out an all-new edition of the RCWR Show, covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Yes, since 2011, we are just a couple of minutes removed from WWE Survivor Series. Bit of a long night. I heard that the pre-show started at 5, and I said, no, brother, need to get some sleep because I'm cranky when I don't have my little Sunday cat nap in the middle of the day on Sunday. I'm so used to it. Hey, shout out to those of you that are staying up extra late just to hear my thoughts about this pay-per-view event. But you know, it's not just my show, it's our show. So I definitely want to know what you guys had thought about tonight's Survivor Series event. Sound off a couple of ways. Twitter at the RCWR Show. We got a poll that is up right now, so you guys can definitely sound off over there. Again, Twitter at the RCWR Show. And I know sometimes via Twitter, we have some people that want to put in a little comment here and there. That's great. But the important thing is that you're actually clicking on the options and liking, retweeting the poll, get more people out there to sound off their thoughts. Now, for those of you that maybe don't have Twitter, we have the next best thing for you guys. We have YouTube. Yeah, youtube.com/the RCWR Show. Click on the communities tab and you can cast your vote that way. And I just literally put those polls out. I don't think we have enough right now to even warrant seeing where we are. I mean, I'm actually looking as we speak. Well, hey, actually, you know what? Yeah, we got early results coming in right now. I only thought it was going to be a few votes, but no, we got a decent amount of votes that's coming in right now. Very interesting, the results. Now, I did this two ways. I basically tried to poll the WWE fan base via WWE's Twitter, and then we polled our own followers at the RCWR Show, and interesting numbers, but the results are still the same. So we'll come back to that in a little bit and see exactly where things stand. All right, so it is night 2 for us here. We were here Saturday night as soon as WWE NXT TakeOver War Games had concluded. So for those of you that maybe did not check out War Games, and or maybe you wanted to know my thoughts on War Games after you get done checking this out, you can definitely piggy on back, check that after show out. This is night 2 of 3 for us. Our third night of WWE wrestling, all the good coverage that you guys have come to know and love. It all wraps up this coming Monday. Yes, Monday the 19th, a special Monday night edition of the RCWR Show. It's the first time in a good minute that we're actually coming on live on a Monday night after Raw goes off the air. Longtime RCWR Show listeners remember we used to come on twice a week. We used to come on Monday nights, and then we had the Tuesday night show. Tuesday night show was basically bouncing around all over the place like you've come to know and love over the years. Monday night, we just strictly talked about Raw. So we're actually going to bring you the best of both worlds Monday night and just give you the RCWR Show. We'll talk about Raw, all that good stuff. Mainly doing it because with the Thanksgiving holiday coming up, I wanted to take it easy, catch up on a little bit of cleaning around the house because we're having Thanksgiving at our house this year. And so we have a few friends, family members that's going to be coming by, and I want to make sure everything is nice and tidy, everything is on point, and plus, just thinking about it, get the show out the way, I can enjoy basically a whole week to just kick back, do some nice R&R, so really looking forward to that. All right, so hey, let's start off and let's talk about that Survivor Series kickoff. You know, I like talking about the kickoff. I always got to show the kickoff a lot of love. Now, I have to admit, I skipped the first hour. So if anything happened during the first hour, you guys will have to definitely clue me in. But what a fucking overall, a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Kickoff show we had during the first hour, Jerry Lawler was with, oh God, who was it? Beth Phoenix, David Otunga, Jonathan Coachman. I actually heard from a few people on social media, they really were not feeling Jerry Lawler. I'm not sure what was going on with that, but nobody was really feeling Jerry Lawler. However, I came in on the second hour I saw Booker T was there. You can see my timeline clear as day. I say, hey, all right, Booker T on the pre-show. This just got better. And apparently there were a lot of people that were saying, all right, Booker T's here. Pre-show is saved. So I don't know what the hell was going on, but apparently Jerry Lawler was doing a bit of a... Jerry Lawler couldn't have been that bad, could he have been? I mean, maybe it was just a situation where you guys have heard so much of the same shtick from Lawler over the years. You all just said, I'm so tired of this, had enough of this guy. Maybe that's what it is. I'd like to know if you were kind of one of those guys on that side going, oh, not Jerry Lawler again. So sound off on that. Hour 2 was where you really wanted to be, though, for the kickoff, because we had got that tag team match that apparently did not mean jack shit. Because when we went to the actual pay-per-view, everybody's going, oh yeah, Raw is now blah, blah, blah. Raw is now blah, blah, blah. And you're going, what the fuck? Wait a minute. Pre-show, SmackDown actually won. And you hear Michael Cole, that doesn't count. And you're like, wait a minute. And that was like the theme over and over. Even Corey Graves had brought it up. Even Xavier Woods brought it up on social media long after his match was over. He's like, hey, WWE, no, it should actually be blah, 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 won. And this is just, riddle me this for a second. If that pre-show tag team matchup did not mean a goddamn thing, then somebody please come to the defense of WWE and explain why in the blue fuck did those teams go through that process of trying to become team captains, to take their squad to Survivor Series? What was the whole point in all of that? If the score was not going to count, then why even have this match? I would have been more satisfied and content with a scenario where, hey, Raw and SmackDown, they had agreed to a special attraction matchup, so we're going to be presenting you with blah, 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 you know, no stakes are on the line. This does not count towards a win for neither brand. It's just a special attraction match, kind of like what they did with the Cruiserweight match that we had tonight on the actual pay-per-view card itself. I would have been satisfied with that, quite honestly. But yeah, apparently what they did on the pre-show, that did not count. According to WWE, that did not count. All right, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, that pre-show tag team matchup, that team had consisted of Team SmackDown. You had the Usos, New Day, Big E, Xavier Woods, Sanity's Eric Young, Killian Dane, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, the Colognes. Yes, the Colognes, sparingly, rarely. We have seen those guys. They were in action. We saw them take on Team Raw's Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, the Revival's Dash Wilder, Scott Dawson, the B-Team's Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, and Lucha House Party, Lince Dorado. This was an interesting one because it should have only been 2 of those guys from the House Party, but apparently the third guy was in there, and everybody was very confused. Even Corey Graves had called it. He's going, wait a minute. No, it should only be 2 of these guys representing the Lucha House Party, not 3. What are we doing, a free bird rule here? What's going on? Because if that's going to be the case, then New Day should be able to do it. Sanity, they should be able to have all 3 of their members doing it. What the hell's going on here? Ref needs to get control. What's up? And Tom Phillips, he's going, well, apparently the referee is allowing it. And Corey's like, exactly, that's my point. Shout out to Corey Graves for catching that fuck up. Corey Graves, very keen eye, very reliable eye as always, because as soon as I spotted that, I'm going, what the hell's going on here? That pre-show tag team matchup was actually good. I don't know how many of you guys skipped out on it, but if you skipped out on it, you actually missed out. It was a decent tag team matchup. It ran about 22 minutes long, give or take. Felt like maybe almost 25 minutes. Definitely 20 minutes. 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more it had went. It was actually a pretty good tag team matchup. We actually saw the team of Team SmackDown. They had defeated Team Raw. Looking at my notes here, just a couple of key spots that I had enjoyed with regards to this matchup. There was a sick-ass spot where Chad Gable did a German suplex that had turned into a neck breaker as Rude was waiting at the receiving end of Gable executing that German suplex. Oh my God, you got to go back and see that. I forget who the opponent was on. Maybe you guys in the chat can jog my memory up if you remember that spot I'm talking about. Because I looked at that, I'm going, oh shit. Oh, that was fantastic. Then later on, finish of the match, you basically had Jimmy Uso. He had climbed up to the top turnbuckle and paying a little bit of homage to his brother-in-arms, his familia, Roman Reigns. We all know, battling that leukemia right about now, battling the second round. We saw him, basically, Jimmy Uso, take to the air, did the locked and clocked fist pump that Roman Reigns loves to do so much, and did a frog splash, basically. Was able to do the, you know, lock and loaded and frog splash all in the air at the same time. Did that beautiful frog splash on Scott Dawson to help pick up the win for Team SmackDown. So, I mean, at this point, you should be going, hey, all right, it's now one, you know, whatever. Okay, cool. But yeah, as we went into the pay-per-view itself of the night, we would learn that pre-show don't mean anything. So that almost kind of validates how some people have felt about the pre-show over the years. Because, see, there used to be this old saying, and we used to go back and forth about this, especially when it came to the pay-per-views. There used to be a time I remember where, oh, wow, that match happened? This was before the pay-per-view? Oh, my God, I would have loved to have seen that. Well, it's a dark match. Oh, damn. And then, all of a sudden, we got the introduction of YouTube. Remember, that was the very first outlet that WWE had utilized when it came to doing the pre-shows and all that. So now what was once a dark match, you could now see it as part of the pre-show. Then it expanded to Twitter and Facebook and WWE Network and everywhere else that WWE can get their hands on, right? So now you have come to expect that, oh, okay, well, this match, okay, all right, cool. But now, when you counts the most, you have a scenario where WWE is basically saying, no, that doesn't count. Pre-show don't matter. Well, if it doesn't matter, why are we doing these pre-show matches? I know. Somebody's going to say we're doing these pre-show matches because we're trying to attract the viewers. We're trying to attract those that maybe haven't signed up for the WWE Network yet. Maybe those that haven't ordered it on pay-per-view. Okay, I get that. I get that. That's a very legit argument. But I'm just saying, if it's going to be a situation where certain pre-show matches aren't going to mean a damn thing, then maybe we should just look, for all entertainment purposes, get rid of, you know, these type of matches and just do special attraction matches that you're only going to be able to see as part of maybe being a network subscriber or subscribing via YouTube or something like that. I think that makes even more the sense in the world. I think the whole pre-show concept from the WWE needs a little bit of fine-tuning going forward. And I think I'm actually on to something. If they were to do something exclusive, especially when you stop and think about it, these tiers, we've been hearing the rumblings, and it is supposed to be happening sometime in the coming year, is that WWE is going to be adjusting these tier packages for network subscriptions. And I dare say, I would have no problem if WWE were to say, hey, look, you do a subscription with us, we are going to show you exclusive pre-show matches that you're only going to be able to find on the WWE Network when we're live. I think that would be nice, especially if it was a situation where, like, maybe the first 30 minutes of a pre-show, they went on ahead and, you know, they stream that free on all the social media outlets, right? But then during that last half hour for the network, you know, the panel, they can keep on talking or whatever, and kind of like do CBS, NFL, Fox. Basically, they say, hey, for you guys on the East Coast, you're going to see your 1 o'clock game. For those of you, we'll see you after this commercial break, talk a little bit more. WWE could easily do something like that and be like, hey, for those of you on Twitter, YouTube, all out social media, I'm going to take this time out, say thanks for checking out the broadcast. You guys will continue to get a pre-show, but if you sign up for the WWE Network, you'll be able to see this bonus match. I think I might be on to something. Sound off, let me know what you guys think. Overall, Survivor Series tonight, SmackDown got its ass handed to them. It was basically, and I had to do a double take, it was basically a clean sweep. I mean, I really wasn't paying attention because I wasn't like, what is that now? Raw's what? But basically, it was all solidified when I looked at WWE's account on Twitter and they recapped how many W's Raw had over SmackDown. It was a clean sweep tonight. And I got to tell you, because people were wondering what were my predictions. And kind of like what went down with TakeOver, I didn't make any predictions, and I told you the reason why. Go back, check it out. But for Survivor Series, I just ended up saying, you know what? Let me just put everything down for a second. I just want to enjoy, just like I did with TakeOver. I just want to enjoy what's going on with Survivor Series tonight, and I'll just react that way. I'll be spot on that way. And if you would have told me that Raw was going to win every single match tonight, I would have said, who booked this shit? Seriously. And I mean, when you hear that, on the one hand, you're going, wow. So they're really trying to help out the Raw brand right now, eh? And then on the second hand, you're going, well, SmackDown is still the superior brand when you look at the caliber of talent that they have on there. Minus a couple of spots, no more Becky Lynch for the time being. Talk about that in a hot second. But when you really stop and you think about it, SmackDown is the winner. The Fox deal that they got, that's going to be happening for them next year. If you would have asked me personally, I would have expected for SmackDown to go over, because for me, it just kind of made a little bit more sense that SmackDown gets a little bit more of that brand recognition, right? They get a little bit of that boost that they need since they're getting ready to go over to Fox. Raw has been where it is all of these years. It's always going to be on the tip of the tongue for a lot of casual wrestling fans. It's always going to be looked at as the #1 go-to first. Whether some people hate what they've been getting from the Raw product week after week, they're still going to continue to keep on checking it out. Much like the hardcore fans that has been through it, good times, bad times, right? So for me, I was really surprised that it wasn't booked in such a way where SmackDown was going to be able to get over. But for Raw to dominate like this, I mean, if you're a SmackDown fan, hey, you're probably going, man, this freaking sucks. But, you know, on the one hand, look on the bright side. You still get to look forward to a lot of awesome, cool stuff if you're on the blue brand side of things, if you're a fan of the blue brand. So, either case, first matchup of the night, we actually saw the ladies get it on. And that had consisted of Team Raw's Mickie James, Nia Jax, Tamina, Bayley, Sasha Banks, team captain Alexa Bliss. And for those of you going, wait a minute, Bayley, Sasha Banks, what the hell? Well, during the second hour of the pre-show, we had learned that apparently, and I guess it kind of happened towards the tail end of the first hour of the pre-show, Natty, Ruby Riott, they went at it. Natty pretty pissed off at what had went down with Ruby Riott breaking Jim the Anvil Neidhart shades a couple of weeks ago on Raw. I did not get a chance to talk about that segment because I think that was the week that we had went on somewhat of a forced vacation because I was feeling a little bit burned out. Yeah. All right. So I'm not even going to touch that because there's just so many holes in that. It's silly as it is. I'm not going to crucify it right now. But because of Ruby Riott, Natty going at it, Alexa Bliss had decided, okay, these two, they're just too damn hot-headed for me. They got their own little rivalry going on. That's going to contaminate me trying to get a W here tonight. Can't have this. So eventually, the same girls that she had fight each other on Raw and embarrass, she actually went on ahead and gave them an olive branch. And Sasha and Bayley basically said to Alexa Bliss, look, we're not accepting this for you, and we don't care about the rest of the team members. We're doing this because we don't appreciate what Becky Lynch had did on Raw, bringing in the whole women of SmackDown over and doing us the way that they did us. This is all about proving we are the superior brand. We are the better brand. So for that reason alone, we're going to go ahead. We're going to do this. So there Here's your explanation for why Sasha and Bayley were in there. So they defeated the Team SmackDown of women. Naomi, Carmella, Sonya Deville, Asuka, Mandy Rose. A couple of spots here. You know, the girls overall, they did pretty good. I gotta say, they did pretty good. Sasha Banks, I got a little bit of a bone to pick on. Sorry, you Sasha Banks fans, but you are just shit out of luck tonight. You know, I was an extra stickler for detail tonight and looking at key things. And I always notice this when it comes to Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, it seems like every time I turn around, whenever she's in a situation where there's maybe multiple people in the ring, she thinks that she can get away with some ridiculous spots. That's the best way I can lay claim to that. And perfect example of what I'm talking about. So as all the girls are fighting, there's actually a spot where Sasha Banks rolls out of the ring. This is early on, like within the first 4 minutes of the opener, and all the girls are fighting each other. So she rolls out of the ring, and she was fighting Asuka. All right, so she's fighting Asuka, then somehow Sasha, she ends up rolling out of the ring. She's standing there, and then she goes over, grabs the ankle ever so gently of Asuka, and all of a sudden, Asuka just, I mean, she act like she went Fred Sanford from Sanford and Son and just instantly collapsed. And I'm going, wait a minute, Sasha barely did anything. What the hell? And I had to look at that again, and for me, it just seemed like that whole thing was just not timed right. I'm not really sure who to blame for that. I'm not sure if that all is on the shoulders of Sasha because she didn't get there quick enough, or maybe if it's really on Asuka because, you know, she had a brain fart. I don't know who it was, but it just seems like every single time there's some type of a match where multiple women are fighting each other, and you put Sasha Banks in there, Sasha Banks, usually there's some botches involved. So I got a nice little chuckle out of that. Not being a dick, I just, honestly, it's just, oh, that was interesting. That's just how it catches my eye. Yeah, nice little spot. Also, there was a spot with Carmella. I didn't understand this spot. Somebody needs to explain this to me. So you do a moonwalk while you have your opponent in a headlock, right? So your opponent is in a headlock, you do the moonwalk, and then you do a DDT? I don't understand that. Somebody needs to explain that to me. I know there's a gif running around of Michael Jackson in the middle of the ring, and he's freaking doing what he's doing. And to Leprechaun TV in the chat, bro, we just told you Raw did a clean sweep. There's your answer right there, brother. I'm not being a smartass. I'm not being a dick. But I told you like less than 5 minutes ago, Raw did a clean sweep. So that should give you your answer to the question that you're looking for right now. It's like everybody's, I just said like Raw did a sweep. I just said Raw owned the hell out of SmackDown. And we got, please tell me this person lost. It's like, we don't just told you right there, man. Wake up and smell the coffee, my brother. I don't know why I was sounding like Bill Cosby right there. You got to wake up, brother. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, I'm trying to understand that spot. That spot was just ridiculous. Carmella doing a moonwalk DDT. Anyway, that was about all she did. That was about the only thing she did during this whole spot of this entire bout. That was Carmella in a nutshell. She did that nice little spot, mocked Sasha Banks a little bit with her little, you know, fabulous pose or whatever that Sasha be doing, you know, when she shakes her little hips or whatever, little gyration or whatever. And that was pretty much it. See, pick it up here. Yeah, on my notes here, I said stupid spot by Carmella. Yeah. Sasha Banks, later on, we saw her apply the bank statement to Mandy. Oh my God. Nia Jax getting the mega heat tonight. The mega heat tonight. Ooh, I mean, you could just smell it, you could taste it, you could feel it. I'm kind of sounding like Leo Rush right there. Lashley, 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 ha ha ha, yeah, ha ha. He looked like money, ha ha ha. He smelled like money, ha. He tastes like money, he fucked like money. I was like, wait a minute, Leo, how you know that? Anyway, yeah, that, Mandy Rose, she had a nice spot there. Nia Jax catching mega heat tonight. From the moment that she came out, entrance music was playing, chorus of boos. Any little time a situation occurred where it appeared as though she was going to be getting in the ring, I mean, she was getting booed out of the arena, and Nia just soaking it up, drinking it all in, man. I mean, she embraced the hell out of it. She owned it. And, ooh, nice little new demeanor that we saw from Nia Jax tonight. I loved it. I love what we had got from her. I bring up Nia Jax because there was a spot where Mandy Rose, looking to prove herself, she actually had tagged herself in at one point over Sonya Deville, who was legal. And Sonya's like, what the hell? Mandy's like, I got this, I got this. And she was doing pretty damn good. I gotta say, she was doing pretty damn good for herself until we saw her collide with Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks applying the bank statement, pretty much eliminated her that way. At this point, I'm just fast forwarding a little bit. We pretty much had got Asuka, Sonya taking on Nia, Bayley, Sasha Banks. Yeah, we saw a situation occur where Sonya and Bayley, they ended up being eliminated via countout. These girls were actually fighting each other. And for the last time, I'm gonna say this one more time because I'm looking in the chat. I'm gonna say it one more time, and anybody that joins the chat after this, you guys are just gonna be shit out of luck. Raw did a sweep tonight. I don't want to see any more. And if somebody could put in the chat, I'd appreciate it, because I'm not the king of multitasking right now, but I am able to see what you guys are saying in the chat. If somebody could say in the chat, hey, Raw did a sweep tonight. That way, anybody that comes in the chat going forward, they already know what had went down. Raw did a sweep tonight. That's all we need to say. That way, we don't have to keep pausing because I don't want people going, who won? Who won? Who? Raw did a sweep tonight. That's all we got to tell you guys. All right. Anyway. So, where were we? We were talking about that women's matchup, bank statement. Yeah, we had Sonya Deville, Bayley. They ended up fighting each other. Action went outside of the ring. Sadly, ended in a double count out. Both of those girls were pretty much eliminated. From there, we've got Sasha, Asuka. They pretty much were going at it. Asuka had hit a really sick-ass German suplex, bended the hell out of Sasha Banks. Oh my god, that shit was just sick. It was sick. You gotta see that again. For those of you, you saw it, but maybe you kind of weren't really paying attention. Go back and watch that. The way Sasha Banks sold that German suplex, I mean, you couldn't help but wonder. You hear how she keeps taking these little breaks here and there, and everybody wants to speculate what's going on with her. Is she injured? What the hell? But my God, the way she bended on that one, you couldn't help but go, damn, hope her neck is okay. Seriously. I mean, she sold the hell out of that otherwise. See, so we saw a situation occur towards the end of the match where Sasha Banks had climbed up to the top turnbuckle and she was looking for a high-risk maneuver. Nia Jax, she basically pushed her own teammate in Sasha Banks off of that top turnbuckle. That sent her crashing down. Asuka capitalizing on that. Had applied the Asuka lock, making Sasha Banks tap out. But when it was down to Sasha and Asuka, I thought what they did, I'm sure you guys would agree, I thought their interaction was great. I mean, that was like the first time that those girls were fighting each other one-on-one. So I ate that up. I had loved that spot. So Nia, she comes in fresh after an exhausted Asuka was able to make Sasha tap out with the Asuka lock. And she went in with leg drop after leg drop after leg drop. picked up a very staggered, a very weak, a very out of it Asuka, did a back Samoan drop, picked up the 1, 2, 3. Team Raw girls, they picked up the W that way. And you're going, oh man, the boos that were coming in for freaking Nia Jax. If I had one constructive criticism about all of this, you kind of knew that Nia was probably going to be walking out of this the face under these circumstances and all the buzz that has been generated. I mean, we talked about this on the RCWR show earlier this week. And I believe I finally had made the audio of that available on the downloads for those of you that were patiently waiting for that. So you guys can now pick it up. But it's like I said on the RCWR show, the interactions that people had been having about Nia and Becky Lynch and people calling for Nia to be fired. And then the infamous tweet that Nia had put out talking about her fists, all that crap. The amount of social media engagement just off of those couple of tweets that Nia had put out there, a strong indication that, wait a minute, if you're the WWE, wait a minute, oh, we got something here. We stumbled into something. It sucks what's going on, but we stumbled into something here. I think there's some good money to be made off of this. So whoever was in charge of the booking, I would like to believe that they definitely had got word of what was going on social media with the engagements, and word got back to upper management, and that's how things had played out the way that it played out. But if I had one constructive criticism about this whole situation, and Nia did her part very well, so nothing that Nia did wrong, but you would like to believe that if you're WWE management, if you're the booking, you're saying, hey Nia, you know what would be really badass? That punch that you did to Becky Lynch, you know, you should now kind of have that in your repertoire. So like, you know, all else fails, you just knock a bitch out. That could be your MO, right? Kind of similar to when Big Show, he started doing the WMD, and it's like, watch out, because if he hits you with that, it's lights out. It's all over. And I don't know about you guys, but I actually was looking for her to do that. And I was eagerly anticipating Corey Graves and them going, oh man, the way that she did Asuka, or oh man, the way that she did Sasha Banks, oh, shades of what had went down on Monday Night Raw this week when she gave that devastating blow to Becky Lynch. I was looking for that, and it did not happen. I'm hoping that going forward, a situation occurs where we're going to see Nia Jax put that in her repertoire. I really would love to see that. And I mean, look, at this point, Nia has to remain undefeated. It's one thing if she's in a tag match, whoever her tag team partner is, let them eat the pin or the submission. If Nia's in a position where maybe there's just a match she's in, she's not really feeling it, and it's basically a count out, I mean, I'm even fine for that if you want to try to figure out ways to make Nia lose. But for the time being, it makes all the sense in the world that Nia does not eat a pinfall or a submission until she locks up with Becky Lynch. I mean, just by what we had saw tonight, if WWE upper management was in a zone of punishment and embarrassing the hell out of Nia Jax, they could have done it tonight. But the fact that they did not do that, I think money talks and bullshit walks at the end of the day. Contrary to how some people may feel, I just feel that WWE is looking at things from a business perspective, and this is why they are going in the direction that they're going in. So it's actually a really smart move in how they're going about it. I like it. I loved it. Ate it up. Tremendous stuff. And hey, for those of you that's trying to call into the show, we aren't taking calls just yet. If you would like to talk about the pay-per-view, that's fine. But do me a huge favor, let me get through the matches as quickly as possible. I'll try to be as quick as possible, but I want to get through these matches. I don't know what's going on. The past, it seems like we've been picking up a little bit of a spike in listenership. the past few times we've been coming on live, and there's been a couple of people that's been calling in, but sadly the timing really sucks. I would love to take the calls just off the break, but we want to power through for folks that did not check out the pay-per-view. They want to know what they missed. You'd be surprised how many people are, you know, maybe working, or maybe they don't have access to the network, and they rely on us to let them know what all they had missed. So we do appreciate you guys that can just kick on back, wait for the opportunity to be told you can call on in. And I said that because we were just getting a call just now, so that wasn't random, folks. But they gotta have Nia Jax remain undefeated until Becky Lynch comes back into the picture. And I like some of the ideas that some of you guys had put out there with regards to the whole Royal Rumble talk. That is definitely an option. I mean, look, when it's all said and done, it makes no sense whatsoever that Becky Lynch comes back from her injury and it's basically business as usual. No. The first person she has to come for, because it's basically unresolved, it's unfinished business, is Nia Jax. So whether it's a scenario that occurs where, who knows, maybe Nia Jax is involved in the Royal Rumble and trying to win an opportunity to main event at WrestleMania. Maybe it's a situation where, ooh, that would be very interesting. I just got to brainstorm. Now, I was picturing a situation occurring where somehow maybe Nia Jax does not become the Raw Women's Champion, but there's a Royal Rumble match where she's in it and looks like she's pretty close to winning it all. But then Becky Lynch, you know, comes in there, screws things up for Nia Jax, and they pretty much pick things up that way. And maybe you could let that be a special attraction match that Raw, SmackDown agree upon that'll take place at WrestleMania. Another scenario you could do is, and the timing is just right, you could have Nia Jax get that championship, but then it's kind of like, well, damn, what do you do with Ronda Rousey? It's a very interesting situation, isn't it? Very interesting situation. There's a couple of different ways you could go with that, because if you go with a scenario where Ronda wins the title, or correction, if you go with a situation where Nia wins the title off of Ronda, then do you maybe go to Royal Rumble where Nia defends the title, maybe against Ronda, and Becky screws Nia that way or something like that? I mean, there's so many different angles between now and then, or here and now. Here now, you know what the fuck I'm trying to say, goddammit. Anyway, you know, there's so many opportunities you can go with that scenario. But I think the end result, my gut instinct, I kind of got this vibe that maybe they're gonna go with Becky Lynch, Nia Jax, maybe WrestleMania. But like I said on the RCWR show earlier this week, my gut instinct is telling me that come next Superstar Shakeup, your girl Becky Lynch is going to be drafted to Raw. I hate to say that to you guys, but that's legitimately the vibe that I'm getting right now. But let's go on to our next matchup here. We got a couple more matches to go. We're blazing through this pretty good so far. Let's keep going. Next matchup, we had Seth Rollins, Intercontinental Champion, taking on Shinsuke Nakamura, the United States Champion. Singles match, no titles on the line. None of the matches had titles on the line, except for the Cruiserweight title. Cruiserweight title was on the line. So you know what? Seth Rollins, Nakamura, they actually surprised the hell out of me. They actually did. Great story that these two men told in that ring. I wasn't sure which Shinsuke Nakamura we were going to be getting tonight. I wasn't sure if we were going to be getting the Shinsuke Nakamura that you've seen him. I mean, come on, let's be honest. What we've been seeing with Shinsuke Nakamura, it's not entirely his fault, but we've been seeing a Nakamura in the WWE these past several months that's basically just been phoning it in, just been doing the bare minimum and slides on by, no problems. And for me, I thought maybe that is what we were going to get again here tonight. And I'm not really sure if it was maybe a situation where Nakamura, hey, I'm getting somebody fresh. I'm getting somebody that really has been delivering top quality matches. Let me do my best to bring my A game. I'm not sure what was going on with him mentally, but we saw, like, for me, looking at this Nakamura tonight, it was almost like NXT Nakamura again, as far as the in-ring action goes. And that's the Nakamura that I have fell in love with. I mean, no, truth be told, the Nakamura New Japan, whoo, but yeah, they toned it down a little bit when he was in NXT, but I still loved what we had got of Nakamura when he was down there. But ever since he came on up, it just seemed like after a couple of months, whatever he was doing in NXT, it was like those things were just taken away. That creative freedom was just taken away from him, and it was just pretty bland, pretty mediocre, just phoning it in, like I said at the top. So it was really nice to get a Nakamura that was digging down deep right here. And I got to tell you, you got to give a lot of that to his dance partner in Seth Rollins. There was just something about Seth Rollins, whether you guys like him or you hate him. There's just something about Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins is on the card and he's in a one-on-one matchup, he brings his absolute best. Never a disappointment. And this was a classic encounter. Now, I'm going to have to rely on you guys because I heard what the commentators had said. So this was apparently the first time that Nakamura and Seth Rollins ever locked it up one-on-one. And at least in the WWE, right? I mean, wow, you hear that and you're going, wow, like these guys never locked up before. And these guys, they clicked. They really, really clicked. You know, and that's the one thing I enjoyed about this Survivor Series. And I honestly would have to say that with regards to this Survivor Series, this was probably the best Survivor Series event that I've seen in recent years. I could probably, and I did briefly, but I can definitely follow up and finalize it on this coming Monday's RCWR show. But I was thinking about it in anticipation of tonight's broadcast and just going down memory lane of the other Survivor Series matches that we had. And I'm going, you know, how does this rank up? And I would have to say from just the match caliber standpoint for each of these matches, I would have to say this was all around one of the best Survivor Series pay-per-views, just for the caliber of the matches. It was the best within recent years. I definitely have to give it up to WWE. Definitely got to give it up to the men and the women in attendance there. Of course, during this matchup, there was a little bit of a distraction. Let's first talk about the finish to this matchup, and then we'll talk about that huge distraction. So I got here closing moments, and at least some key points with regards to this matchup. At one point, we saw Rollins. He was able to counter the hell out of Nakamura's Kinshasa. And he just did a fucking super kick party. Just series of super kicks. And basically curb stomped. That was it. Curb stomp, Nakamura picked up the W. Great back and forth that these two guys had. Big distraction that we had during this matchup is when things had really start popping. So apparently former WWE superstar Enzo Amore, he's now gone back to Enzo, but it's not spelled the way that you guys remember it. He's being a little bit clever with the way that he's spelling out Enzo. And honestly, I'm very surprised that he did not do this a lot sooner, because everybody is more familiar with, I mean, he's done pretty good as Real One, but come on, man, you're missing out on even more money-making opportunities. So it's about damn time that he went back and cleverly figured out how can I keep calling myself Enzo without getting a cease and desist from the WWE? So Enzo Amore was in attendance at Survivor Series tonight at the Staples Center. And WWE is going to be there for the next 2 nights. They've basically been there, or they're going to be there for a total of 4 nights. They were there for TakeOver, Survivor Series tonight. They've got Raw Monday, and everything wraps up with SmackDown on Tuesday with their 4-night event there. And yeah, so apparently he was kicked out. Let me load up some of these images for you guys right now so that you guys can see it here. This was hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Okay, so let me show you. So one of the first times that Enzo pops up, I believe it is this one I want to click on here. Actually, let me see here. Click on that for you guys. Yeah. Okay, so this is the very first time that you see Enzo pop up during this matchup. You can see, and somebody, if somebody could do me a huge favor, do you see the white boy here? You can see Enzo is circled in the red there, the red circle there. Can anybody do me a favor? Tell me what is going on with my man in the lime green shirt. I know the guy sitting to the guy in the green shirt. So the green guy sitting to his right, I think that's the squared circle dude. He's not a prop. That much I was able to establish because I had interacted with him a little bit. So he's legit. And Ellis Imba actually had confirmed that he's not a prop. But the guy with the green shirt, he always wears a green shirt usually. What's going on with him? But then most importantly, go over to the guy with the shades and the long hair. He is always with this older woman who you can see that's to his left. Looks like she's smiling, having a good time. Every time I see them, I'm going, what is going on? These guys are practically there for every single WWE event. And I'm just going, what is the secret? Like, are you part of the mob or something? How are you guys able to make this possible? Like every single time there's an event. How? Just how? I gots to know. I got to do like my man in Dirty Harry. I gots to know. You know, are you paid actors? What's going on? Because usually the way that I dub dude, I say, oh, it's the guy with his mom again. But this is the first time that we see Enzo. Now, don't worry. If you guys can't really make out what the hell you're seeing there, don't worry. I got another image for you guys. So that's the first time we see him. And that's one of the first go-arounds that we start hearing, oh, Enzo's in attendance. All right, so here he is now. Now we've got a nice zoom up. Oh, man. Yeah. He looks like he has some type of a... I mean, that looks so damn suspicious. I mean, look. If you are doing CCTV as security there at the Staples Center, or if you're part of WWE security, you're going, wait a minute, something does not look right. Especially given the fact that you are in California and it's always nice, warm, sunny in California. There's no reason to be wearing a hoodie. So reports are that Enzo did not realize that he was sitting in front of the hard camera, and that when he realized he was sitting in front of the hard camera, that's when he tried to move. Well, it doesn't just stop right there, as it gets even better. Let's see, we showed you that one. Let's show you another one here. All right, so here you go. Here's Enzo being escorted out of the arena thanks to security. Notice the female with the long blonde ponytail. Apparently her name is Liz. And she should look familiar to you guys, because if you remember, there was that WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken, where she interfered and stopped Ron Gronkowski from jumping over the barrier, and it was kind of established, no, he's legit. He's supposed to be doing business here. He's okay. Let him through. Yeah. So she's now 2-0 when it comes to stopping people that are causing a little bit of a disturbance here. All right. So, and then we have a video for you guys. Let's go ahead and load the video up here. Now, you guys are not going to hear the sound, so I apologize for that in advance. Okay, let's do the video here for you guys. All right, so here's the video. So, you know, he's just trolling, trying to get himself over. Yeah. Yeah, they was not having that. I mean, they were on his ass. Reports were that once WWE spotted him in front of the hard camera, that's when they pretty much had alerted security and were like, hey, look, pay attention to this guy, because, you know, we don't think he's up to no good, basically. And some more new information had came out as a result of this. Now, supposedly, Vince McMahon, this is according to multiple wrestling news outlets, reliable outlets at that, they're reporting that Vince McMahon is pretty pissed off about this whole Enzo situation and how he basically tried to put the spotlight on him and everything, and that Enzo is now officially banned from all events. Well, I'm like this. You don't need to be a news reporter or anything like that to put common sense together. Okay, I know some people were like, oh, Enzo, you know, this was some part of a plan where maybe eventually they were going to try to reintroduce Enzo, and it kind of backfired because he was sitting in the wrong location. And I'm sorry. Bless your heart for thinking that way. But no. Really stop and think about it. Just use a little bit of common sense for a second. Regardless of the young girl, we don't need to say her name, but the young girl that said what she said about Enzo doing what he did to her, and yeah, her character can definitely be questioned, right? But just the fact that you've got that stigma in the air, not that many employers in the real world are really going to want to align themselves with somebody like a Enzo Amore that has that type of thing surrounding them. They want to kind of steer clear from that as much as humanly possible, right? It's like, damn, well, what does that say about us if we do business with this person again, and then another incident happens a short while later, and we've already made this investment, we've invested our time, our money, our resources into getting this guy, this character over. What the hell? Not too many employers are really going to be risking that. So everybody that wants to jump out there and report that Vince McMahon is, just use common sense. Just use common sense. Now, this is what a lot of people should really be homing in on. Everybody's really missing the true narrative here with Enzo basically stopping by at this bad boy, which is, let me see if I got this straight. You spend $500, maybe $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, maybe even $5,000 on some Survivor Series tickets just to basically come there and troll like a motherfucker and trying to get yourself over. You're trying to get your 15 minutes of fame. Wait a minute. You gave this passionate interview on the Stone Cold podcast, and, you know, life is good, no looking back, I'm all right, I'm got my hands dipped into all of these different projects, I got my clothing line, I've got an album, I've got this, I've got that. Okay, well, if you're good like that, then why are you coming back, and why are you trying to put the spotlight on yourself? Self-vanity at its finest, folks. Seriously. Now, something else that kind of piques my interest a little bit, that I want you guys to be paying attention to. Supposedly, take it with a grain of salt, but supposedly WWE officials are talking to Enzo's ex-girlfriend. He used to live with her, if you guys remember, Liv Morgan. And apparently they're trying to see about talking to her to get some type of a restraining order put in effect. As if you guys don't know, he released a new rap track. We'll be talking about that on Monday's RCWR show. The track is called Live a 30 for 30, and it's basically a diss track about Liv Morgan. So we'll have fun dissecting that on Monday's RCWR show. So, yeah, that's Enzo Amore. It's kind of sad when you stop and think about it, because it's like, dude, if you got all of these different things going on, like, seriously, why? Why are you poking your nose? Why can't you just go to this event and be a good sport? Represent your friends, represent your former co-workers and everything. Why can't you just be a good sport that way and just root them on? And, yeah, no. So, not a smart move. It's not a smart move whatsoever. Continuing on with the rest of the card here. See, AOP, Akeem and Razir, Raw Tag Team Champions, taking on the Bars, Cesaro, Sheamus. Okay matchup. AOP defeating the Bar. You know, it was a so-so matchup. I honestly could have done without it. We saw a silly little spot where Drake Maverick, he basically kept interfering, and finally Sheamus had enough of him, because at one point looked as though Sheamus was going to pick up victory via pinfall, but at the last second, Drake Maverick had grabbed, I can't remember which AOP member it was in the ring, so you guys got to forgive me, but he grabbed that AOP member's leg, put it up on the ropes, signal for the ref, hey, his leg's on the ropes, man, what the hell, look. And once Sheamus kind of realized what was going on, he started to give chase to Drake Maverick. Drake is running around the ring. Eventually, he runs into a clothesline by the Big Show. Big Show picks up Drake by the neck, up on the apron, and Drake is just scared shitless. So scared, he actually pisses on himself, and we actually see it. And Corey Graves delivering the greatest line ever of the night. He basically said, oh my god, he had the greatest line of the night. Basically it was, it's better to piss on yourself than get pissed on. you're like, oh my god. I tell you, that Drake Maverick, whew, that was an interesting spot. Really makes you, I said spot, oh my god. Anyway, I'm entertaining myself too much. Keep it moving along. Singles match, Cruiserweight Championship. Buddy Murphy retained over Mustafa Ali. This match, great match for the Cruiserweight title. I tell you, and I continue to be amazed by my man Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy has come a long way from his time with Blake and Murphy, Alexa Bliss down in NXT. I'm really amazed at his development. He's done really a phenomenal job. Mustafa Ali, God, he's really leaps and bounds and improved since his time in the Cruiserweight Championship tournament. I got to give it up to both of those guys. Really tore the house down tonight. Looking at my notes here, if there was anything interesting. Yeah, you know, there was a sick-ass spot that Mustafa Ali had did to Buddy Murphy. It was on top of the announcer's table. He did a sweet-ass Spanish fly. Whew. You guys, if you did not see this particular matchup, see if you can go out of your way and find it on YouTube or Daily Motion. These guys, and that spot, I mean, there were so many great little spots, but that spot alone, I'm going, ooh, tell me my man Buddy Murphy is still alive. Tell me he's physically okay, because that, I was legitimately concerned for my man Buddy Murphy, but sold the hell out of that. He sold the hell out of that, did it like a pro. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out if there was anything else with regards to that matchup before we move on here. See, and another thing about this match that I want to point out, with Buddy Murphy taking on Mustafa Ali, you know, it was interesting hearing the chants from those in attendance. You know, they were like, this is boring. They really did not care for this match. This match had went about, I would say it almost went about 15 minutes. And for sure, like the first 7 minutes, the fans in attendance, they did not care. And you're going, okay, these guys are just warming up. Let them go on ahead. Let them get it going. Let them get a little bit of a build up there. They're just getting it started. They're warming up. They're going to bring it. And sure enough, about 5 minutes after this whole this is boring chants, that's when the guys had really started to pick it up. Closing moments of this matchup, after that Spanish fly, we saw Ali try to bring the action back into the ring and looked like he was going to attempt the 054, but Murphy stops him, nailing with a super kick. And from there, Murphy ends up hitting a power bomb and a sit-down power bomb. That only got him a close near fall. Now the fans were really starting to get into it at this point, as they were actually chanting, "This is awesome." From there, Murphy goes for the Murphy's Law as Ali blocks for a 2 count. And they had collided in the corner. Ali rocking Murphy. Ali gets caught with a huge knee on the way down. Murphy finally connects with the Murphy's Law to retain his Cruiserweight title. And that's all she wrote. Good matchup there. We had saw a spot for Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan apparently is coming soon. They did not specify if it was to NXT, if it was to Raw, if it was to SmackDown. All they said was Lars Sullivan coming soon. And it was a great little graphic promo that they showed of the man himself. That's good. I hope he's coming up to the main roster. Only question is, which side is he coming on? For me, it would kind of make a little bit of sense if he came on over to the Raw side. Maybe Baron Corbin could have himself somewhat of a personal enforcer, someone that could kind of combat Braun Strowman. It's a little bit of food for thought right there, but we'll see how that plays out. All right, so we go to our next match. I mean, we are just blazing through this here. We're doing pretty good. So for those of you that were trying to call into the show, we only got 3 more matches left. Let's have at it. Team Raw defeating Team SmackDown. Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley. Defeating the team of Miz, Shane McMahon, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy. A lot of dysfunction on Team Raw. A lot of guys worked up, pissed off at each other. You know, there was one spot, looking at my notes here, there was one spot. So off the break, we saw Samoa Joe get eliminated. Samoa Joe going for a submission move, trying to choke somebody out. Saw Drew McIntyre get in there. Somehow he becomes a legal man, does the Claymore kick, pretty much gets Samoa Joe eliminated that way. Fans were chanting, this is bullshit. But shortly after that, we saw a spot come about where Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, they collide, having words at each other. And it's getting really, really heated. And they just start attacking each other. And you're going, wow, okay, this is good. And you see the other Raw guys, they try to come in there and, you know, try to clean all that up. Meanwhile, you got the SmackDown guys. They're looking at this. If there was ever a time to just kick on back, watch these guys just destroy each other, that was the time to do it. But instead, the SmackDown guys went on ahead, jumped in there, because they wanted to fight too. I didn't like that spot. Personally, I felt that since Braun, Drew were going at it, okay, let them go at it. Let them do the whole dick measuring contest and figure out who's better than who and pick up the scraps that way if you're on the team SmackDown of things. We eventually saw Finn Balor eliminate Rey Mysterio. We saw Miz playing quarterback multiple times, using poor Shane O'Mac as his mule, carrying the load for practically the whole match. We saw Shane McMahon do a coast-to-coast on Dolph Ziggler, as we saw Shane pin Dolph Ziggler, eliminated him that way. We then see Miz tell Shane McMahon, hey, do another coast-to-coast. I'll do my thing with Bobby Lashley here. Yeah, that did not go so well. As we saw Shane McMahon jump off the top turnbuckle looking for that next coast-to-coast on Bobby Lashley. Braun Strowman, who was out of it for a little bit because the numbers game had piled up on him, so he was out of commission for a little bit. We see him able to get up on the apron in time, clothesline the hell out of Shane McMahon, knocks the wind out of Shane. From there, we see Braun, he eventually becomes the legal man, and we see Braun just manhandle his way as he took the Raw team to victory. We saw not one pump handle power slam to Jeff Hardy for the pin and elimination. Same thing had happened to Rey Mysterio. That point you had Miz, Shane, they were left taking on Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. Braun, he eventually gets his hands on the Miz. As Miz, he's actually trying to tell Shane, hey, you got to go in there. We got to do this. Come on, I need you to go in there. I need you to get the win for us. And Braun, he's giving chase. Miz tries his best to run away from him, but Braun catches up with him eventually. Another pump handle slam. Miz is pretty much out of it that way. Everything pretty much came down to Shane O'Mac. Shane O'Mac, once he realized he was the last man standing, Shane just said, hey, come on. I mean, he was exhausted as hell. He's like, come on, go ahead, bring it. Bring me your best shot. And he put up a valiant effort, but another pump handle slam for him. And that was it. Braun Strowman single-handedly gave the Raw team the W. And right before he could really get into the celebrating, or maybe immediately get his hands on Baron Corbin, because remember what was said to him on Monday Night Raw this week. Stephanie had said, hey, guide the team to a victory at Survivor Series, help us win, and you know what? You'll get your match against Baron Corbin. No problem. You'll get your title shot match. All that will be coming to you. Just take care of business at Survivor Series. Baron Corbin actually jumped Braun Strowman from behind and quickly had escaped with Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre going up to the stage ramp area, holding their hands up in the air as a pissed off Braun Strowman was looking on, but saying, that's okay, I got you now. So we know these guys, they're going to be locking it up at the TLC pay-per-view event. We heard some of the matches that's going to be coming up. So we know that's going to be happening. We also know that it's going to be Seth Rollins taking on Dean Ambrose. That was revealed on tonight's Survivor Series, as we saw Seth Rollins in a backstage segment. I want to say he was talking to Charlie Caruso, but I'm not really sure. Originally he was saying to them, hey, look, you got to make sure that you're bringing your best game with Nakamura. I know everything that was going on right now between me and Dean. Yeah, you could say that would be a distraction, but I know you can't be distracted when taking on a guy like Nakamura. But now that that's in the books, I'm going to kick on back, have me a couple of cold ones, and enjoy the hot tub. And it was revealed to him then that in a few weeks he's going to be taking on Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental title. It's looking like at TLC. That's going to be happening at the SAP Center, or the SAP Center, in San Jose, California on December the 16th. Also, we're going to be seeing a mixed tag team match, the Mixed Match Challenge Season 2 Finals. Winner gets the 30th spot in the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches. So, if there was ever a time to see what's going on with these mixed match challenges, yeah, nice little extra incentive there. All right, keep it rocking, keep it rolling, and get to our next matchup. Where are we now? Now we are on the match of the night. These women brought the fire, man. Ronda Rousey taking on Charlotte Flair. Epic encounter. Epic fucking encounter. I would have to say that Ronda Rousey had her best in-ring match to date so far. Charlotte was really bringing it. I mean, you want to talk about really testing a girl. Ronda was handling herself very well against Charlotte. The way these two girls were going at it, it was almost like they had been engulfed in a feud for a series of months, and this was just pretty much almost the blow off of the match, if you will, like the be all end all. And I definitely want to play on back to what Steven had said in the chat here. Shout out to Steven, shout out to Mike, shout out to Proto, shout out to Austie, shout out to Leprechaun. Who else we got in here? Shout out to James, shout out to Eddie, shout out to Noah. Steven had said he enjoyed the Charlotte and Ronda Rousey match. Ronda got taken to the limit. Yeah, it really did come off like she had got taken to the limit. I mean, this was a classic matchup. Was really proud. But you know, we saw a very interesting twist to this match. A hell of a closer too. I mean, we see Charlotte throwing everything but the kitchen sink at freaking Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte just is very possessed. Like, what do I have to do to beat this girl? And finally, we just see in the closing moments, Charlotte just snaps. She just freaking snaps as the action goes outside of the ring. Ronda Rousey's trying to give chase to Charlotte. Charlotte goes under the ring apron, pulls out a kendo stick, and just starts going loose on that bad boy. And the referee throws the match out. So Charlotte is disqualified. So yeah, Ronda Rousey wins via disqualification, but it didn't stop there. Charlotte just continued to go belligerent on Ronda Rousey with that kendo stick. Some point before that kendo stick spot, Ronda ended up bleeding profusely around the lip, around the mouth area. I'm not really sure the circumstances that were surrounding that, because at that point I was actually getting the stream set up for you guys, so I would actually have to go back and watch that matchup to talk about that a little bit more. But I was definitely concerned about what was going on with Ronda at that point. But man, if you'd have told me that we would get to see blood twice in 1 week, and it's all from the WWE girls, I'd be saying, wow, get out of here, really? Sick, just sick, loved it, was eating it up big time. Yeah, Charlotte going belligerent on Becky Lynch with the kendo stick. She then brings in a steel chair, tries to finish her off that way, and one of the referees that was there telling Charlotte, no, that's it. Charlotte's like, okay, whatever. Arguing with the ref, but she's like, okay, whatever. So referee is checking on Ronda, and you kind of remember the placement of that steel chair, and you're going, damn, any closer, and Ronda's face might as well just be over the chair. And sure enough, pretty much that was literally the case, as Charlotte comes right back into the ring, does a natural selection, as Ronda's head, wham, hits the steel cage. Charlotte, pissed, she's not done yet, grabs the steel chair. That same referee, a couple more referees tried to get in there, stop Charlotte. Charlotte starts attacking all of them. There was a weak-ass spot, though, where one of the refs, she really did not even hit. Like, I could tell she meant to hit the ref really good in the stomach, but the way that she delivered it and the way that the referee sold it, it just was not believable whatsoever, as the referee's just kind of really no selling it. But he does eventually get out the ring like, this bitch is crazy. So see Charlotte grabs a steel chair, and she sets it up very nice, and I could tell she really has not done that before, and it's understandable. That's not really in her repertoire, but we see her struggling to set that chair up around the neck area of Ronda, but eventually she gets it right. And I was really concerned, because one of the first times that Charlotte has the chair set up, you're going, no, that's not the way you do it. You're definitely going to hurt somebody. No, flip it. Flip it. I'm yelling at the TV, flip it, Charlotte, flip it. So she flips it finally, and you're like, okay, now we're cooking with gasoline. Basically goes to the corner, comes back, stomps the hell out of it, messes up Ronda Rousey's neck really fucking good. And now Charlotte is satisfied. We hear Charlotte basically telling Ronda, I'm the man, bitch. Fans were eating this up. A lot of chants for Becky. Of course, we all wish that Becky would have been in there. And shout out to Austin in the chat. He's saying that the result of Ronda getting bloodied up in the mouth there, apparently there was a spot where Charlotte had hit Ronda in the mouth. Apparently elbow, it was an elbow strike that had inadvertently did that to Ronda. So I'm still going to go back and check that out. It's very rare I go back and check out the WWE pay-per-view events, because it's like, okay, one and done. But this one's actually pretty good. I wouldn't mind watching it all over again. Yeah, so Charlotte just really snapping. And I tell you what, Becky's going to be out for a couple of months. For me, this transition that Charlotte is doing, it makes a lot of sense, because we pretty much had saw on SmackDown, and I kind of figured there was more to it that meets the eye, so to speak. But, you know, to see Becky hug Charlotte like that, it was almost kind of like, okay, you know what? I may not have been getting along with you these past couple of months, but you know what? There's that part of me that does respect you as one of the best. Maybe not better than me, but you are one of the best. It was kind of like almost a passing of the torch officially. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of the things that WWE is doing with Charlotte now is, you know, they basically have Charlotte somewhat kind of defending Becky Lynch's honor, but also trying to reclaim her position as the #1 female. Because remember, before Becky Lynch had finally stringed it all together, it was all Charlotte. Remember that. Remember that. Originally, when you want to look at those NXT girls, when you want to look at all of those NXT women that came on up, yeah, Paige had her moment in the sun. Sasha Banks had her moment. But man, when Charlotte came to the scene, yeah, she kind of struggled a little bit early on. And we remember when she got paired up with her dad and everything. But once Charlotte had finally stringed it all together, she was just, all right, watch her fly. She's got it now. Everything's connecting. Watch her fly. And she's, the best. The best out of all the women that have come from developmental in the last 10 years. She has been the absolute best as far as I'm concerned. And now you had the situation where Becky had finally came into her own. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of the stories that's basically being told is, just like I said, she was defending Becky, but also at the same time, she wanted to reclaim that she's the man. She's the baddest bitch in the WWE. And no better way to make that claim than by doing that serious number that you did on Ronda Rousey. That definitely leaves the door open for Ronda and Charlotte once again. Maybe that could be a special attraction match at WrestleMania. You never know. But in the meantime, sadly, Ronda Rousey is going to have to deal with Nia Jax. Because remember, Nia Jax, she's got a title shot. So I would think that's probably going to be happening at TLC as well, unless they're going to do it at Starrcade. Because remember, Starrcade is supposed to be coming up in Cincinnati, Ohio at the US Bank Arena. It's going to be happening on November the 24th, but it's supposed to be airing on November 25th. So again, I know there were a lot of you guys that were bummed out for not being able to see last year's Starrcade event. They'll be taping it on the 24th, so do your best to stay away from the spoilers. You'll actually be able to see the special on the WWE Network on November the 25th. So if you're keeping track at home, basically that will be a Sunday night event. So they're going to be taping it on Saturday of this coming week, and then Sunday the 25th, you guys will be able to watch it on the network. So Cincinnati, Ohio, it'll be at the US Bank Arena. So the way that card is looking, we might as well go to that card right now. The way that card is looking, Seth Rollins will be taking on Dean Ambrose. It'll be a street fight for the Intercontinental title. Braun Strowman will be taking on Baron Corbin. AJ Styles is supposed to be taking on Samoa Joe's steel cage match. Shinsuke Nakamura will be defending his United States title against Rey Mysterio. The Bar, they will be taking on the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Again, The Bar defending the SmackDown Tag titles. Finn Balor will face Drew McIntyre. Rusev will face The Miz. So actually looks like a pretty solid event. I must say, looks like a pretty solid event. I can't help but wonder how they are going to, if they're going to acknowledge Starrcade at all on this coming week's Raw and SmackDown. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays about here. Hey, how you guys enjoying the show so far? Sound off. If you haven't done so already, do hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, do subscribe so you never miss out on all the great content we do for you here on a weekly basis. One more match to talk about. Let's go ahead. Let's jump right into it. Daniel Bryan, WWE Champion, newly crowned WWE Champion, taking on Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion. This match was pretty damn one-sided at first. I mean, we see Daniel Bryan, who's not intimidated by Brock Lesnar whatsoever, smiling at him, provoking him, mocking him, willing, ready, able to go toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar. Bell finally rings. We see Daniel Bryan instantly do a low drop kick to Brock Lesnar's knees to get him down on the mat. And just as quickly as Lesnar is able to stand back up, Daniel Bryan rolls out of the ring, smiling, mocking Brock Lesnar. You're going, ooh, okay. You know the old saying, though, hey, Brock just needs to hit you one time. It's like a bear just mauling the hell out of you. Just one strike. That's all he needs. And eventually Brock Lesnar did do that. And we just saw him owning the hell out of Daniel Bryan. I mean, you couldn't help but legitimately feel kind of worried for Daniel Bryan from the standpoint of, oh man, so what's going to happen here? How many German suplexes are we going to see, Brock Lesnar give to Daniel Bryan? And because it's like, about the concussions that Daniel Bryan has been having, all of that. So you're going, Daniel Bryan taking on Brock Lesnar. They got to really figure out how to book this match in such a smart way that Daniel Bryan is not taking any significant bumps that would involve him, landing on his head or something like that. But we saw a situation come about where I'm looking at the notes here. We saw a situation come about where Brock Lesnar, he did hang on a second here, guys. I'm just checking out someone on Twitter here. Okay, I'll check that out later. So we did see a situation occur where Brock Lesnar was able to get his hands on Daniel Bryan, and he did apply a German suplex. And you're going, okay, here we go. From there, Brock Lesnar screams Suplex City, try to get the crowd going. From there, we see Lesnar just starts manhandling, lifting the hell out of Daniel Bryan, launches him for a second German suplex. Paul Heyman, fantastic job, really selling the hell out of these injuries that Daniel Bryan is sustaining. Like, oh my God, this is so barbaric. Commentators really doing a good job saying, man, you know what? Daniel Bryan looks like he's not even in this match. Look at the glazed look in his eyes. He is totally out of this. Somebody needs to stop this match. They were selling this really good, bringing up Daniel Bryan's medical history and all that with the concussions. Did a really good job in really hyping the hell out of this. Lesnar just continuing to manhandle Bryan, just pretty much dominated him for the most part. Remember, there was a spot where he sent him flying into a barrier, try to bring him back in the ring, ragdolling him, does an F5, goes for the pin, gets to 2, but Lesnar decides he wants to play with his food a little bit more. Big mistake, because then all of a sudden we see Daniel Bryan, somehow he manages to get in on the offense. Series of kicks. Trying to figure out what other spots there was. I remember kind of setting up towards the end, there was a spot where Brock Lesnar tried to look for the F5, and he inadvertently knocked out the referee. Daniel Bryan nails Brock Lesnar with a low blow, basically somewhat similar to what went down with AJ Styles on Tuesday SmackDown. And referee doesn't see any of this. Daniel Bryan comes in with a flying knee. It connects. It's a pretty ass connection. Goes for the cover, near fall. From there, we see Daniel Bryan call up the yes kicks, try to keep Lesnar down. Great offense that was coming about from Daniel Bryan. I mean, it was really looking like, okay, well, now that Brock Lesnar has all of his spots, he got all his stuff in, now it's time for Daniel Bryan to get all of his offense in there. So it was nice seeing, especially when you heard that one spot where Brock Lesnar says, "This is your champion, Hung," and you're going, yeah, hopefully it doesn't end like this, because this is just pure fucking dominance. This is ridiculous. But to see Daniel Bryan equally put in the amount of time and offense that Brock Lesnar had did to him to pretty much open it up, really, it was a nice balance. So closing moments of this one, we saw Daniel Bryan, he connected with a series of drop kicks, tries to go in for another one. Brock Lesnar comes in for the F5. Bryan managed to counter that, turned it into a yes lock. It was a great sequence right there. Great fucking sequence. Fans were popping for this because it looked as though maybe Lesnar was going to be kicking out, so to speak. Lesnar nowhere near the ropes as Bryan continues to have this yes lock applied. From there, Lesnar eventually powers out of it. Clubs Daniel Bryan several times. Bryan tries to apply the yes lock again. Lesnar starts power moving towards the ropes. Daniel manages to keep the hold in there. Lesnar powers out of it once again as Daniel Bryan somehow quickly on the fly tries to modify, turn it into a triangle, tangle a little bit more, but eventually Lesnar powers out of this by picking up Daniel Bryan, slamming him down, picking him up, turning it into a F5, picks up the W that way. It's a great matchup. Damn good matchup. Great way to close out Survivor Series. You know, yeah, Brock Lesnar might have won, but Daniel Bryan looked pretty damn strong. I'm really surprised that we didn't get a situation where AJ Styles was maybe going to pop up, and that was really my biggest takeaways tonight. I was very surprised that we didn't get a cameo from Dean Ambrose. I was very surprised we didn't get a cameo from my man AJ Styles. You know, if there was any time and a place to represent, try to extract some type of revenge, tonight would have been totally understandable, but they didn't go in those directions, so it was very interesting. So we had asked you guys earlier, what did you think about WWE's Survivor Series, looking at the polling results that we got in right now, and pretty interesting results. So we have collectively, I'm just adding this up real quick, so collectively we have about over 150 votes, and it looks like we have about almost 70% of you guys are giving the pay-per-view a thumbs down. I'm very curious why you guys are giving it a thumbs down. I wonder if you guys are giving it a thumbs down because of the fact that Raw did a sweep, and or if maybe the main event match kind of rubbed you the wrong way. I'm very curious about that. 14% of you are staying in the middle. 17% of you are giving it a thumbs down. So very interesting. And while we're at it, let's see what's going on via YouTube, because we did put the poll up on YouTube as well in the community section. Let's see how that is going. And as I got that loading up, if you haven't done so already, make sure you do hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out all the great content coming your way on a weekly basis. And click the like, all that good stuff. Click on the bell notification so you guys always know about new content that comes your way here. All right, let's keep it coming here. See, looking on YouTube, still kind of early via YouTube. So we got 44% of you that's giving it a thumbs up. 31% of you are giving it a thumbs down. 25% of you are staying in the middle. I like what's going on via Twitter. I think what we got on Twitter is more of a representation, I personally feel. So, hey, I said we were going to open up the phone lines. If you guys want to call in, let me know what you had thought about Survivor Series tonight. Now, you can call in 202-697-9449. Call the number that is on your screen right now. Yay, yay! And while we're doing that, final thoughts on Survivor Series tonight. I would have to say the sweep really bugged the fuck out of me. I can't believe that Raw just did a sweep at Survivor Series. Just, I'm a little bit speechless at that, but I can actually put that to the side and I can just focus on the matches in general. And I still feel that, I know some people are going to be like, it sucks because SmackDown didn't pick up a couple of wins. I would still say that this was one of the more enjoyable Survivor Series within recent years. I would still have to go in that direction. Let's see, what else? The Enzo Amore thing, I can't wait to hear a lot more about Enzo and this whole deal. And I wouldn't be too surprised if a situation had occurred where WWE had heard about Enzo being in the area even way before he came into the arena, and maybe it was just a situation where an all points bulletin was put out on the guy, because one of the pictures that he shared of himself on social media was him in his wig getup. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, that just looks so goddamn pressed on so many goddamn levels that it doesn't even make sense. So let's see if we got this right. Just to recap, James Ellsworth did what he did, apparently, exposing himself there, sending graphic pics. We've got Enzo Amore, rough week. He gets kicked off of an airplane for vaping, and he gets kicked out of a WWE arena. I put a tweet out challenging Enzo. I said, hey, dude, while you're at it, why don't you fucking get yourself kicked out of a McDonald's next or a Panera? See if you can add that to your pretty shitty week that you've been having so far, man. Like, seriously. Stupid, man. Just stupid. Shout out to Proto. Glad you appreciate the review. If nobody's going to call into the show, I try to tell you guys, it's like, trust me, I would love to do nothing more than like when I see somebody calls in and just be like, hey, what'd you think about it? I would love to do that. But the thing is, it's like we try to recap what happened for folks that didn't check out the pay-per-view. And then afterwards, we try to like open up the phone lines, make it be about you guys, get you all's thoughts, opinions, and all that good stuff. And, you know, I mean, if you can wait it out, that's great. But if not, I mean, you know, it sucks. You know, it sucks you can't wait, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. I see Philip in the chat. He said that the pay-per-view event tonight, it was a horrible joint. Gino, shout out to Gino. Gino said, I only watched the last two matches, the Ronda match and the Lesnar match, and it was both good matches. Gino, you got some catching up to do, my friend. Austin, hate how SmackDown Live got rawed tonight. Yeah. Austin followed up on the question I had about Jerry Lawler earlier, what was going on with him. He said that Jerry was actually fine. Usual wit. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay. Noah, show was okay. What else we got here? Oh, no, you're actually okay. Hang on. Yeah, Raw did a goddamn sweep. Lee Strack, my hometown. Oh, they were in your backyard for the pay-per-view tonight? Cool. All right. I love it when we have shows like this, man. So it's like I opened up the phone lines and let me tell you something. At this point, if you guys ain't going to be calling into the show, that's perfect for me. Because we've been doing this the past couple of months. And like I said, I'll give you guys credit. You guys are calling. You just are calling in at the wrong time. You're trying to call in like as soon as we're on the air. But I'm only going to keep the subscription going for the phone line maybe 2 more months. And then I'm just going to take that feature away. Because it doesn't make sense. I'm actually paying out of pocket for the phone line. And I try to do my best to make the show be as interactive as possible. So, I mean, at this point, if you guys are just totally fucking cool with just a chat room and how I acknowledge you guys that way and all that cool stuff, then that is fine for me. We can definitely do away with the phone lines. But what I will do for you guys with Monday night's RCWR show, what I can do is as soon as we come on the air, yeah, we'll be talking Raw recap, all that good stuff. But if you maybe want to just shoot the shit for a couple of minutes, like as soon as I come on the air, we can definitely do that. I'll open up the phone lines for you because I don't know, maybe you guys got work, school, or something like that, and you really can't hang till like, you know, 90 minutes into the show or whatever. So, you know, just to see what you guys are gonna do. So we'll open up the phone lines this Monday night. We'll see how that plays out. And yeah, Monday night, in case you missed it, we'll be coming on Monday night, special Monday night edition of the RCWR show. As soon as Raw goes off the air, represent, especially if you would like to see more Monday night shows. Definitely represent. It's going to be fun. I have to tell you, it's going to be fun. I haven't done a Monday night in a long time, so I'm a little intimidated, but we'll see where we are coming up afterwards, all right? Steven, SmackDown, I fell so... Steven, I don't know what you're saying, man. SmackDown, I fell so that got they beat by Raw. Steven, it sounds like you're trying to say poor SmackDown. I'm so sorry that they got beat by Raw. I guess that's what you're trying to say. I don't know, my friend. You gotta clean that up for me, my friend. All right, that's going to do it. Those of you waiting for this on demand and on the downloads, give me about, I would say give me about 30 minutes. I got to slap on intro, record some ad spots. I knew I forgot something. I'm glad we're still live on the air. Let me take this time out and let me recognize some of our show sponsors and also recognize some of our Patreon members. If you want some bonus audio content of the RCWR Show, patreon.com/RCWR Show. Did a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of revamping. I saw that some of the images that we had on our Patreon page was broken. Those have now been corrected. So check it out when you guys get a chance. Post some cool stuff on there. Bonus audio, video content, get access to exclusive shows like our 30 with Lee series, reviews current movies out in the theater, classic movies, hidden gem movies. If you like blaxploitation films, all types of cool stuff we review on 30 with Lee. Matter of fact, me and the missus, we have reviewed the 3rd season of Daredevil. So yeah, we also have the Wrestling with the Topic series where talk about stuff non-wrestling related. Really fun show. Me and the missus go back and forth on that one. A lot of cool stuff. Check it out. Shout out to our Patreon members: Anthony Missionary Thomas, Wrestling Soup, Michael Wolf, John Davis, Joe Raymond Jr., and special shout out to our newest sponsor, Tony Bing Gaming. That's Tony Bing Gaming. If you love Marvel Strike Force, the game on iOS and Android, you're trying to figure out which characters to invest in, maybe you need help, advice, passing key campaigns, raids, blitz modes, Tony Bing, he's the man you want. Gaming tutorials, reviews, so much more, everything related to Marvel Strike Force. Check him out. He's got a great YouTube channel, Tony Bing Gaming. That's Tony Bing Gaming. And he also has a Patreon. He just started it up, and he's getting into that position where he's going to be doing more exclusive content. He did not want to go to Patreon, but basically a situation occurred where they recently, Foxnet, the game developer for Marvel Strike Force, they recently had made him somewhat of a beta tester. It's a non-paid position, so he gets to test out stuff way before it comes out officially, globally, everywhere on the official patches and all that. And as a result of that, you know, he's making more videos, but there's also many situations where you know, some of the newer characters that's going to be getting ready to come out, he tries to put himself in a position where he has the money to buy those characters, even though it's not a guarantee. Those of you that play Strike Force, you know what I'm talking about. So he spends a lot of his money so that he can do the type of stuff that he's able to do on his channel. And for that reason, that's why he's now really embracing the hell out of his Patreon account. But trust me, you would definitely love him. If you had played Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Marvel Omega Heroes, and you now find yourself playing Marvel Strike Force, yeah, Tony Bing, he's the man. Good guy. And I got some more shout outs. We'll get into that later on. For on demand and on the downloads. But for now, that is going to do it. Wishing all of you guys be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Remember, Monday night, we will be right here for you guys as soon as Raw goes off the air. So until next go round, I am wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another, and may the good news be yours. Take care, my pretty babies.